I tested if you can really run a profitable construction business from your phone. All right, let's talk about something every tech company loves to promise contractors, that you can run your entire construction business from your phone. They make it sound so amazing. Invoice from the fields, track jobs on the go, approve change orders between meetings, know your numbers without ever opening a laptop. Sounds like the dream, right? So the question is that actually realistic and doable? Or is it just a marketing hype made by people who've never stood on a muddy job site with one bar of service and a crew waiting on answers? Because here's what I see every day. Contractors are very busy. They're moving between jobs. They're juggling crews, subs, materials, clients, and paperwork. They're basically firefighting every single day. The most of them want mobile systems to work. So my client and I decided to test it. Could a contractor realistically run their business from their phone for a full week? Not theory, not best case scenario, real jobs, real apps, real problems. So by the end of this video, you'll know what actually works, what breaks fast, and whether running your business from your phone is legit or just another sales pitch. Before we get into the apps, let's define the test. This wasn't about running a massive company with 10 office staff. This was a typical construction business, one owner, a few active jobs, crew on payroll, invoices going out, expenses coming in, change orders happening mid-job. The rule was simple. For one full work week, everything had to be done from the phone. And we also did this as payroll was coming up so that we could fully test it, because why not? So the rules were no laptop, no desktop, no I'll fix it later at home. If it couldn't be handled on the phone, it counted as failure, as a ding against mobile apps. Basically, the contractor had to fully rely on their phone 100% of the time. That included all the invoicing, all expense tracking, all the time tracking, job profitability checks, client communication, the change orders, the payments, and quick financial decisions. Ready? Let's dive into it. So we started with the most important and most obvious app, QuickBooks Online. Because no matter what project management tool you use, QuickBooks is where the money lives. And this is just the app that I will always and forever recommend all of my clients to use. And luckily, my client already had this installed on his phone, so we were good to go straight away. From the phone, QuickBooks Online actually does a lot right. You can create and send invoices, accept payments, view bank balances, snap photos of the receipts, check basic reports, see project profitability if projects are set up correctly. For example, my client in this test invoiced the progress bill from the job site. Client approved, payment came through, no laptop needed. That part worked pretty well, but here's where reality kicks in. QuickBooks Online does not like weak signal, aka if your data sucks, then it won't work properly either. You can enter expenses and take receipt photos offline, but your reports won't load, project dashboards won't refresh, and anything invoicing, syncing waits until service returns. So if you're standing in a new development with really bad reception, you're capturing data but not reviewing it. That's fine as long as you understand the difference. Phone-based QuickBooks works best when it's used to capture information, but not deeply analyze it. All right, next up, labor, because labor is where profit quietly disappears. So for this test, we use QuickBooks Time paired with QuickBooks Online Payroll. Quick disclaimer, this client is a longtime client of mine. Their systems were already set up properly with our help. The crew already knew how to use those tools, so there was absolutely no heavy training involved. The test wasn't about onboarding, it was about whether the system actually works from a phone. We asked the crew to use their phones only. From the phone, they were able to clock in and out, assign time to specific jobs, add notes, and track breaks. Here's the part that matters more than most people realize. QuickBooks Time works offline. Crew members could clock time on rural job sites with no service. Once signal came back, everything synced automatically. No lost hours, no backfiling later. Now, here's where it all connects. When it was time to run payroll, payroll was processed directly in the QuickBooks Online mobile app. Those tracked hours flowed straight into the payroll. Payroll was approved from the phone. And once payroll ran, the labor costs automatically loaded in QuickBooks Online on the correct jobs. No manual entry and no spreadsheets and no guessing which hours belong to which project. The time tracked on the phone became payroll hours. Those payroll hours became job costs, all inside one system end to end. If you're trying to run job costing from your phone and labor isn't captured and pushed through payroll correctly, nothing else in your system matters. This part held up 5 out of 5. Now let's talk about receipts, because if materials don't get recorded, your profit numbers are essentially fake. My client used Dext for receipt capture. From the phone, they could photograph receipts at the supply house, capture line item detail, assign expenses to the correct job, sync everything into QuickBooks later. Dext also works offline. That's huge. You don't need service to take the photo. You just need service later for the upload. And honestly, the phone camera alone did a lot of the work. Job photos, delivery slips, whiteboard notes, even handwritten change notes. The takeaway here is simple. Your phone is excellent at collecting evidence. If you're disciplined about snapping photos in the moment, the back-end bookkeeping becomes 10 times easier. This was also 5 out of 5 stars for us to test. Now we get into the area where things get really interesting. Project management. This test used JobTread, and I'm actually more excited about this one than I thought I would be. JobTread from the phone lets you handle a lot more than you'd expect. Here's what my client was able to do directly from the app. Scheduling. They could view the full project schedule, update task status, and see what was coming up next without opening the laptop. Client communication, they could send messages, share updates, and get approvals all through the app. Clients could see progress in real time. Daily logs, crew members could log what happened on site each day, weather delays, material deliveries, issues that came up, all documented from the phone. Change orders, this is huge. They could create change orders and line items with costs and send them to clients for approval, all from the job site. Job photos, take photos, attach them to specific tasks or areas of the project, and organize them by room or phase. No more hunting through camera rolls. Next, time tracking. Integration. JobTread syncs with time tracking, so labor hours tie directly to tasks and phases in the project. Financial syncing. Here's where it gets good for bookkeeping. JobTread syncs back to QuickBooks Online. Estimates, invoices, change orders all flow into your accounting system. Now, what couldn't they do from the phone? Complex estimating. Building detailed estimates with multiple line items is still easier on desktop. The phone works for quick adjustments, but not full estimate creation. Another one is advanced reporting. You can view reports, but building custom reports or diving deep into job costing analytics is better on a bigger screen. Bulk actions. If you need to update multiple jobs, tasks, or invoices at once, you'll want the desktop version. But here's what really impressed me. My client could run most of their day-to-day project management from the phone without feeling limited. They weren't constantly saying, I need to get back to the office to do this. They were handling client requests, updating schedules, and managing change orders in real time from the job site. That's the difference between a tool that has a mobile app and a tool that's actually built for mobile use. Tread falls into the second category. Solid 4 out of 5 stars. Here's what surprised us. The phone worked best when it was used for execution, not planning. Things that were great was invoicing on the go, capturing expenses independently, tracking your labor, communicating with your clients, approving change orders, checking high-level numbers. My client stayed moving, nothing piled up, paper didn't get lost. That alone reduced his stress. Instead of I'll deal with this later, it became I'll capture this now, and that's a huge shift. Now, let's be honest, the phone struggled with a couple tasks: deep financial analysis, large report reviews, cleanup and corrections. You couldn't really be fixing big mistakes. And you might be thinking, this was just a week-long test. Is this even fair to deduce? My answer is yes. And you might be thinking, this was just a week-long test. Is it really fair to conclude this? My short answer is yes. We needed to see if these other tasks were possible via phone. And sadly, they were not. While these instances may happen, rarely, the idea is, will my client survive solely from the phone alone? When something went wrong, the phone wasn't the place to fix it. Small screens, limited visibility, too many tabs. Plus, if you're on the move, you can't necessarily use your phone while driving. So this is our quick realization. The phone is not where you fix systems, it's where you use them. So can you run a construction business from your phone? You can operate from your phone. You cannot build or repair your business from the phone. And that's the difference tech companies don't explain. If your systems are clean, your chart of accounts makes sense, projects are set up correctly, your job costing works, time tracking is accurate, then your phone becomes powerful. If your systems are messy, the phone just lets you make bad decisions faster. This approach works best for owners already using QuickBooks Online properly, also contractors who capture costs on a daily basis, which is important, teams using mobile time tracking, businesses that review numbers weekly, not yearly. It does not work for businesses businesses with messy books, I'm sorry, you have to fix it first. Owners guessing profit, that doesn't work. Companies trying to fix problems from the field, and businesses who have zero systems, it's not going to work. So here's the bottom line. Running your construction business from your phone isn't a fantasy, but it's also not magic. The phone is a tool. The system underneath it is what matters. If your books are clean, mobile works. If they aren't, mobile just hides problems longer. Convenience only works when the foundation is solid, and now you know the difference. I'll see you in the next video.